day. Our next guests were on a past episode. Tony and Jenny Teel is our next guest. They're interabled couple. They have an amazing YouTube channel. I just watched their last couple episodes recently and enjoyed it was a Thanksgiving flashback episode that I kind of watched, and that was fun. I watched it yesterday. So we welcome them now. Let's see, are they there? Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, how are you both doing?
Pretty well. Thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining in on this crazy radiothon. That is I don't know what it is, 13 hours, I don't know how many hours.
How are you hanging in?
Well, I get a little tongue twisted once in a while because my tongue is like, are we still working? Are we still doing this? So that's where I rely on the phenomenal guests that come in one after the other and really save the day, to be quite honest with you. So no pressure, but you guys are up.
Pressure.
And, so welcome back to this show. We've talked before. You have this, like I said, as I tease, an amazing YouTube channel about being interabled couple. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your story as a couple.
Do you want to start?
Do you want to start?
Look at you.
Gentlemen first.
Oh. So yes. So how we met? Is that where we're starting?
Sure. Wherever you think is appropriate, Tony.
Okay. Yeah. So Jen and I actually, this is nothing that we haven't said on the channel. So
Right.
But no, Jen and I met on the internet, go figure. And I was just kind of living my life up in Indiana, and Jen was down here in Louisiana. And kind of, I mean, I can't even say we really hit it off. And like one thing kind of led to another, and like 6 months later, I was moving, found myself moving down here to be with this wonderful woman. Big life-changing moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we dated for 4 years. I asked her to marry me, and she said yes, and here we are.
Now, at the
And
time,
we had a baby. Yes.
and
So
then you
not
started
much.
filling the house. Yeah.
Yes.
That is the true Cliff Notes version of all that.
Yes.
True.
He
So-
was a hermit,
Oh yeah.
living
Yeah.
in his mother's house, and
Oh my God.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
I'm gonna go there, and it was just too charming for me to pass up. So that is what you call a catch. And
Yes.
so
Oh, yeah.
I was smitten, and we had a 13-hour phone conversation.
Wow.
And yes, that was when I knew that if anyone can listen to me ramble on and on for 13 hours, they deserve to, I don't know,
Have your hand
get
in
a
marriage.
chance. Yes. They've earned a spot.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
a long conversation.
We had
that's
our own
a
marathon.
long conversation. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
so. But Tony, I mean, you were diagnosed prior then to meeting
Yeah.
Jen.
Yes. I was
FSHD.
Yeah, I was diagnosed kind of like really later in life. I mean, I had seen symptoms, now that I look back, for like a good, probably like since I was 21 was when they were really, really starting to manifest. And decided, I was working at a restaurant at the time, and that's really physically demanding work. And it just kept getting more and more in the way.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, decided to seek, like medical advice, and went to my personal, doctor, and he kind of got me started on the road of seeing like specialists and all that. And that was, I want to say, when I was 30. So
Okay.
I've gone, yeah, like I've been in denial for like 9 years up until then. Looking up things on the internet and trying to find what might be going on with me. And let's see, thinking that I just needed to, exercise more, and probably did more harm to myself than any good. but yeah, it wasn't until, I got in with my specialists in the MDA that, the that the beast finally had a name, and I could actually start doing things a little bit more intelligently, with how I approached it all, the disease, and getting in with a neurologist and a orthopedic specialist, and all that. So it was a good thing ultimately, Yeah.
And Jenny, then what was your first thoughts, knowing Tony had FSHD? Did you even know what it was prior?
No, I had never heard of it before. I had heard of muscular dystrophy, but I've just never heard of FSHD. And so I just really had no precedent for what that would look like, or what it would progress to. So it was just really confusing in the beginning. But if I'm honest, I really didn't think we would meet. And so I didn't think that it mattered. It was just like, this is my pen pal, my best friend.
Exactly.
For not very long before it turned into more. But in the very beginning, it really didn't matter to me because he was so kind and just a good listener, and he was just there for me. So I had just recently gone through a divorce. And so Tony was just, he was just a rock for me in that really hard time.
Mm-hmm.
So then the questions started to come because we were going to arrange our first meeting. And I did start to want to know what I was kind of getting into. And we did that first Skype session. And I was so shy and embarrassed that I was like trying to hide in the corner of the screen.
It was like this.
So that he couldn't see me.
Hi, Tony.
That's what I was doing. Because I was so afraid to do a Skype call that I was about to have a panic attack. And Tony was really relaxed and casual about it. But I was able to start to kind of see, like, he showed me how, his arms would move, like how he kind of used his shoulders more than his arms.
Yeah.
And I could see a little bit in the face of how that starts to manifest in different ways. And so I was just starting to kind of get a picture for, like, first of all, yes, I understand what you're talking about now, but also, okay, good, you're just a regular person. You are a regular person, like, you're still Tony, you're not, this isn't defining you. Like, you're the guy that I'm bonding with and falling in love with. And like, I see you through that. And it comforted me to know that, like, it had its place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can understand your apprehension. I mean, it's the first time you're seeing each other, and then knowing this, it kind of adds that extra layer of anxiety. I think we all get a little nervous to meet someone new at the first time, especially when you think there's feelings involved. So yeah, like, is this person going to run away when they see me, or are they going to accept the fact that the way I am, or whatever? And that's, I think, for everybody, regardless of
everybody.
Right? So then where did the idea start then for the YouTube channel? Because it's definitely getting some traction and interest in people. They're seeing how you guys live. I mean, it is a definite, like, view into your lives that you're very open to share.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to say it, or do you want me to say it?
You can start.
Okay, I'll start. Because YouTube is kind of more my thing. So
Yeah.
He's kind of the reluctant, passenger. But we both have different interests in it. But basically what it comes down to is that Tony wanted to start a blog about his feelings about FSHD and how it's affected his life, almost like a memoir. And it was just not happening, and he couldn't find time for it.
Right.
And so, he works full time and he goes to school and he's a dad. And so he was just having a hard time finding time to write his blog. So meanwhile, I had a little cleaning channel on YouTube that I use cleaning to kind of manage all my stress and anxiety. And so I was having fun doing that. And then I said, what do you think about just doing that platform and, taking your idea of encouraging and kind of relating to other people in the FSHD community, but doing that on the YouTube platform. And he was all in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. We talked about it for for a while, you
Yeah.
know, and we just, you know, decided, you know what, let's just do this, you know, let's, I think in all the talks that we were had, we started to kind of like lay the foundation for how we wanted it to go, you know, kind of how we would present ourselves, you know, and kind of like to what degree, you know, we would let, you know, the camera, I guess, or our audience into our lives, and really, you know, the best thing about it is that, you know, the more, you know, we come across, or I mean, we try to be as genuine as we can. And in how we talk about like how the disease, you know, affects our lives, and, you know, from my perspective, from Jen's perspective, and those have been, you know, when I talk to people who leave comments, I mean, like that, or those topics are like one of the things that always kind of, you know, resound, or, you know, like make a mark. And, you know, we get a lot of like really good feedback, you know, and just like, you know, like a lot of people thanking us, you know, saying, you know, that it's needed and everything. And we're just glad that we can provide that, or, you know, that we're, you know, can be a part of that.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think that is helping people quite a bit. You know, it's other interable couples, and it's you know, something that, I don't know, I guess never really had a face where people really come out and talk about it, you know, and then to
Right.
kind of have that, I don't want to say intimate look into your lives, but it's just very real. You know, this is how we go to the park. This is how we deal with this. This is just what we do here. And it's like, you know, for me, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting way to do it. Oh yeah, okay. You know, the adapting, you know, to things.
Yes.
To me is huge. That's like the main tool of it all. I think if people can at least watch it to understand, hey, here's another resource of how you can adapt. This is how we do it, you know. And I know you might not do it the same way, but this is how we do it, you know.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think there's a certain level of just the human understanding of overcoming obstacles that, you know, so many people can relate to. And we're hoping that, you know, anybody can relate to it, like able-bodied, you know, or people that do have disabilities. We were just recently telling our engagement story on our channel. We haven't posted it yet, but telling that story is, I mean, it was just obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. It just seemed to never end.
Yeah, like it was never supposed to be.
Yeah, almost like it wasn't meant to be.
Like they were saying, don't do this.
But I mean, it's worth it. Like I mean, looking back on it, that is what we can be proud of, you know, and anyone who goes through this can be proud of that you've learned how to be resilient, you've learned how to overcome obstacles. And, you know, there's a certain amount of wisdom that comes from that.
Yeah. Especially, you know, when you come together, you know, you can pretty much do anything.
Yes.
We
cannot fight.
Well, and it's funny because, you know, you bring up that story that I'm looking forward to seeing you post that then about the engagement. But I know that there's probably people that are, maybe they're recently diagnosed, or maybe they've been dealing with FSHD for a while, but they're single, right? And they probably often worry, are they even going to have a romantic partner? You know, are they even going to ever have that in their life? That this is just an obstacle. Someone's not going to want to deal with this.
Yeah.
What's your advice for those people?
I mean, honestly, that was my life for 20 years. From, you know, it was like when I started kind of getting a sense that you know, something was up with me, I started to kind of pull back from, you know, like having those, like whenever those thoughts of wanting to get into a relationship would start popping up in my head, I would kind of like say, well, no, that's probably not in the cards for you in life. And, you know, so I wouldn't, you know, put myself out there. But my advice would be, don't listen to yourself. Don't give in to fear. You know, don't give in to doubt, because you know, I mean, it took me 20 years to learn that lesson. You know, and that's like one of my biggest regrets, is that I missed out on like 20 years with this one.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed out on anything. I think we met exactly the right time that we were supposed to meet, because I had to get ready for this life. I had to get ready for this crazy life. And I wasn't mature enough before for that. So
Right.
I'm barely handling it now. But he makes me better, that's for sure.
Likewise.
But you did tell me in one of our correspondences early on, Tony did tell me that it's too much of a burden to put on someone else. And I, as a person with burdens of my own, I immediately knew that that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, she shot that down. She shot that down. It was like one of my excuses. It's like, oh, no.
Yeah, because we all bring burdens to the table. You know, we all bring baggage with us into a relationship. I had my own fair share of baggage. And, you know, if he's got this to carry, then we're going to carry it together. And that's the bottom line. And I tell him this all the time now, that we cannot fight. We do fight, but we can't fight, because it's like whenever we fight, everything breaks down. So right. Tony and I do everything together. You know, it's like the disability makes us like, we have to work as a team.
Exactly.
So like I drive him to work every day and pick him up from work every day. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if I I'm just mad at him and don't want to bring him to work, well, that doesn't benefit me to not bring him to work. He runs all the behind the scenes stuff for the YouTube channels. So if he's all in a huff and doesn't want to talk with me, or we're fighting or whatever, then, you know, nothing gets done for the YouTube channel.
Right.
So it's like, we've learned that we need to communicate and work through every single tiny little bump in the road. It doesn't have to be big. Even if it's a small thing, we have to deal with it very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because we can't have like these breaks in communication, because we literally do everything together. Mm-hmm. I can't just say, oh, you know, we won't do your bath this week. Or you don't say, oh, you know, I'm not going to upload your videos. So we definitely rely on each other pretty much for everything.
Yeah.
So
better as one.
And it's better that way. Really.
Oh yeah, it sure sounds like it works for you both, and that is a tough thing to kind of squash your arguments quickly, right?
It is hard.
Because we're both very stubborn, and we have to learn to get off the high horse and just work together. It's not always easy.
Yeah. Wow, what inspiration you two have! I want you to plug though your channel. Where can people find your videos and watch more about you?
Sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. So our channel name is Jenny and Tony. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
simple,
easy enough.
That's great. Yeah, and I know that there's some good ones out there. Like I said, I watched the ones with like a Thanksgiving flashback. I'm looking forward to the other episodes you have loaded on. You teased about the one there for the engagement story. That should be good. So I implore people to definitely take a look at it after the show today. Not right now.
Not right now.
And then tune into their YouTube channel. It is good stuff. It is funny, and it's emotional, and it's just a great look into real life, So thanks guys for putting that channel together for all of us, and thank you for being on the show today. Appreciate your time and being a part of this event.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.